Yo, 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 welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got Mike Bibby not choking Fat Joe, the return of Joel Embiid, a Masters preview, the week's hottest releases, and of course, our Hard Pass.
Don't forget about me.
And co-writer is in the building today. Let's start with some hot takes. So, hating-ass Kenny Smith's favorite NBA player, Sabrina Ionescu, was a guest of the Iowa Hawkeyes this past week. As we've seen with Vanessa Bryant and LeBron James with other Nike schools prior, Sabrina gifted Iowa with Nike gear, and of course, Sabrina wons. Not gonna lie, I was doing the weird thing we internet people do and looking at every instance of Sabrina and Caitlin Clark wearing the same frame to see if they got beef, or even better, if they were already plotting to shoot logo threes at next year's NBA All-Star Weekend to piss off Kenny even more. Like a good chunk of the sports watching public, I've been caught up in what these kids have been doing to elevate the women's game, and it's been awesome, man. Women's college hoops has had stars like Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Beckers because they aren't one and dones like on the men's side. But between the increased TV ratings and proliferation of NIL deals that will surely incentivize some top stars to stay at least an extra season, hopefully this trend will keep on going for years to come and inspire some top prospects on the men's side to follow suit and build their brands in college as well. So Mike Bibby, he did an exclusive interview with our guy Matt Welty over at Complex Sneakers, and man, the pool quote to end all sneaker-related pool quotes is this, Jim, when Fat Joe came over and took some of Bibby's one-of-one Jordan PEs. No, I just had my hand on his throat like, yo, come on, you can't take all of them. It wasn't to the point where I choked him. Co-writer, remind me to never ask Mike Bibby if he wants to do a sneaker closet video.
Got it.
I'm kidding, kinda. I'd still do it, preferably with some of Fat Joe's crew that he brought with him, but like, in all seriousness, it was very cool to see that Mike Bibby did this interview because it gave us some insight into the inner machinations of what it's like to be a Jordan athlete who might not get a signature shoe, but is also not just someone who's at the bottom of the hierarchy with care packages full of GRs. Bibby had the juice to get low-cut Jordan 5s made just for him. That's a flex, man. Didn't help him during the 2002 Western Conference that my 17-time world champion Los Angeles Lakers won fair and square, but it's still a flex regardless.
You just had to go there, huh?
I had to. Yeah, that closet video is probably never going to happen now, but Mike, if you're watching, let's do it. Fernando Tatis Jr. is rocking custom Tiffany-inspired Jordan 1 cleats, and now all I can say is, what team does he play for? I guess he plays for the San Diego Padres, and the City Connect jersey is supposed to be a blending of San Diego and Tijuana. But man, Nike really needs to do a better job with these city jerseys in all sports, or better yet, maybe not do them every year. For every badass Miami Vice jersey or those dope Chicago White Sox Southside ones from a year or two ago, there's virtually every city jersey this year in the NBA. And these Padre ones, I don't know. Moving on. Joel Embiid is officially on board with Skechers. And after spending several years at Under Armour and his lone signature shoe, the UA Embiid 1, it has the potential to be a game-changing thing for sure. All it takes is one sneaker to change the perception of a brand. See the Adidas AE1. The biggest hurdle, even more than the big men don't sell shoes stereotype, is the Skechers name itself. Having been known for budget price casual footwear along with the occasional lawsuit that lands them in the crosshairs of Nike and Adidas for decades, it put Skechers behind the 8-ball in perception among the sneakerhead community. It might be so bad that even a solid design can't help them. But if they were to rebrand the basketball division into something new and fresh that's headlined by Embiid, Julius Randle, and Snoop Dogg for that OG cosign, I think there might be something there. Once upon a time, Brand Black, the athleisure brand that made signature shoes for Jamal Crawford a while back, were partners with Skechers. If Skechers is Toyota, creating a Lexus brand out of thin air might be the way to go. Oh, that and hiring some dope designers too, like, Brett Golliff or something like that. Hey, remember Lavar Ball? Well, he's back in the news and he's not happy with Puma. Shout out to Lewis Hamilton for teaching us to say it the right way. Anyway, Ball is blaming Puma for his son LaMelo's string of ankle injuries. This led to a flurry of responses on social media, reminding us that Lonzo Ball had to switch out of his dad's Big Baller brand shoes constantly because they were, to use Lavar's words, raggedy. Something about karma, something. But look, I'll be honest, I wish things had turned out differently, and there'll be more on the Ball family later on in the show, so stay tuned. All right. Our pick of the week. So Nike and Adidas celebrate the original Mamba Day, April 13th. To most of the world, Mamba Day is August 24th, the day after the late Kobe Bryant's birthday. But for those who remember the original Mamba Day, it was April 13th, 2016, the date of Kobe's final NBA game. And it looks like Nike and Adidas have not forgotten, as they are both releasing classic signature shoes from the past to commemorate the occasion. We have the Nike Kobe 8 Protro Venice Beach on April 13th for $190, the Nike Kobe 4 Protro Philly on April 13th for $190, and the 6 Protro Italian Camo on the 13th for $190 as well. On the Adidas side, we have the Adidas KB8 2 OG on the 13th for $150. Now, if this is the beginning of John Donahoe listening to the fans and actually making more Kobe Protros that release on a more consistent basis, great. But if we're going to be treated to another mess where people aren't happy because they missed out, I wouldn't be surprised either. The upcoming Team Bank colorways like the Laker-centric pairs or the ones in neutral colors will likely be the ones that will be easy to pick up. I mean, at least that's how I feel. And when that happens, Kobe Protros will be just like Jordan Retros, where the basic colorways sit on shelves and are easy to buy, while certain classics from the past come back and immediately sell out. Now, as for Adidas getting into the Mamba Day of it all, I'm all for it. Even though Kobe's relationship with Adidas wasn't the best post-split, it would be a shame if younger sneakerheads and Kobe fans didn't get a chance to discover that he wasn't always a Nike guy. I also hope that we get some resolution between Adidas and the Bryant estate so they properly brand the shoes as KB8s and Kobe's instead of crazy whatevers they're calling them. Look, man, as much as the world hates the submarine-ass Kobe 2, I need a retro with the Froby logo. Shout out to my man Nick DePaula for blessing us with a look at this gem. All right, let's do our preview of the 2024 Masters Tournament, aka the biggest golf event of the year. With all due respect to the legendary player, look, that take from last year resurfaced again, and it still boggles me. And hey, he's a multiple-time winner at Augusta, so his opinion carries a lot more weight than, say, me, a guy who's been to Augusta twice. But putting the Masters last, I'm gonna have to respectfully agree to disagree with one of the GOATs. Beyond the prestige and the immaculate course that looks straight out of a painting, it's the grand finale in what we consider the best 2-week stretch in sports. You've got the NCAA tournament that includes the Final Four, a blazing hot 2-night WrestleMania. The NBA playoff picture is starting to get clear. Baseball's got a potential big scandal in their hands, and NFL draft nerds are convincing us which 6th-round pick is going to change the game.
And F1's in Japan.
But all roads lead to Augusta with the dulcet tones of one Jim Nance spitting hot fire. Okay, well, hot saccharine fire with a dollop of sappiness, but it's still fire nonetheless. Anyway, there's a lot of buzz surrounding the 2024 edition of the Masters beyond the usual talking points. It is one of the 4 times throughout the calendar year where you will see the PGA's best play alongside the LIV Golf defectors who qualified or were invited to play. With the possibility of a deal that will finally bring the two entities together inching closer to a resolution, tensions, they're a little high. Both sides seem to agree on some level that playing against each other only during the 4 majors is unsustainable. But what the compromise looks like is still unclear. Will it mean the addition of team golf style events with shotgun starts and the ability to wear shorts for the PGA Tour loyalists? Do LIV golfers have to start getting used to playing 72 holes again? Who knows? But enough of the PGA LIV stuff for now. The best part of the majors is that for 4 days, we don't really have to care about who plays for what league. It's the best of the best competing for one of the 4 biggest prizes in the sport. So let's break down some burning questions we need answers to. 1. Can Rory finally win another one? To quote Chris Rock, Rory McIlroy is tired of this shit. Tired of this shit. man. After spending the better part of the past 2 years as the face of the anti-live faction, all he has to show for it is a starring role on a Netflix show Full Swing, a bunch of gray hairs, and 0 majors since 2014. When he's focused, he's a top 3 talent, and he ain't number 3 or number 2. And it's not like he hasn't had cracks at that 5th major through the years. It just hasn't happened yet. Everybody hopes that the 5th major will happen in Augusta so he can pick up the career Grand Slam, but at this point, I think even Rory would agree that as long as it does happen, that's what matters. Oh, and bonus points if Rory gets in another snarky dig at Phil Mickelson, provoked or unprovoked this week, because that's just how Rory is. And we love him for it. 2, will Sunday Red matter? You think that nearly 30 years into his pro career, Tiger Woods wouldn't really have anything to play for other than winning a few more majors so he can get closer to Jack Nicklaus's record of 18. But I think even with the litany of injuries he's had to deal with over the past 15 years, Tiger still wants to show the world that he's still got that it that made him the best of the best, really of the best. Well, there's that, and he has a new brand he wants to sell us. With the May 1st launch date fast approaching, Sunday Red needs a strong showing from Tiger. Okay, that's probably a bit of a stretch because I think anything he drops on the first will instantly sell out due to the sheer curiosity of fans. But in the long run, Tiger needs to consistently compete out there in his new gear. I mean, Nike doesn't seem to be bothered by this whole thing because they're still selling their remaining TW branded stuff in store and online. So a strong showing where he makes the cut is probably the goal. But knowing Tiger's competitive drive, he won't be content with just making it to Sunday so he can wear Sunday Red. He's going to want to win the damn thing. I don't know about that, but man, I guess it's nice to want things. Can Brooks Koepka annoy Rory even more? If you watch season 2 of Full Swing, you'll know that a big sticking point for Rory is that he has 4 majors and Brooks used to have 4. I say used to because now Brooks has 5 after having won the 2023 PGA Championship. Yeah, that doesn't sit well with Rory. Brooks, on the other hand, probably couldn't give 2 Fs how Rory feels. Koepka is living his best life right now, getting paid by LIV without having to worry about his eligibility for majors for the next several years, no matter what happens in the merger talks. If anybody has a chance to get under Rory's skin even more from a competitive standpoint, aka non-petty reasons, it's gonna be Brooks. And considering how close he's come before, number 6 could happen as soon as this weekend. But there's 2 big obstacles in the way, and that's number 3. Can Scotty and John be this generation's defining rivalry? Hey, remember when baseball didn't have interleague play and the only time you saw American League against the National League was during exhibition games in the World Series? I don't because I'm a young Gen Zer with an old soul, but what I heard from the real olds is that it made the few times when, say, the Dodgers and the Angels played against each other in preseason games actually special. So let's play out a scenario where this PGA LIV thing drags on for a long time, or even worse, never comes to pass. Scotty Scheffler continues to dominate on the PGA Tour and show the world that he is golf's number 1 ranked golfer. Except there's Jon Rahm, the uncrowned world's number 1, who does nothing but win on the LIV Tour and shows out during the majors. That would make those rare times when they do face each other, like during these 4 majors, must-see television. Rahm is the defending champ, and Scheffler is the 2022 winner. Imagine these two on Sunday in the final group, where more than just a green jacket is on the line. Well, for those two, the only thing that matters is the green jacket. But for the rest of us, it's golf having an existential crisis at the highest level, and we're here for it with pimento cheese sandwiches in hand. The only combination that would be more compelling is Rory and Phil. But that's mostly for the comedy of Rory just death-staring Phil for 18 holes. And finally, what about the rest of the field? There are a lot of compelling storylines heading into Augusta. Can BFFs Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas break out of their major slumps?
Nope.
Can a Will Zalatoris or a Victor Hovland win their first after getting so close the past few years?
Maybe.
Are longtime pros like Wyndham Clark and Brian Harmon more than one-time major winner wonders? Does Dustin Johnson know where Augusta is?
Probably not.
What's the next How do you do, fellow kids? Golf sneaker that Phil Mickelson wears to get us buzzing.
Yeezys.
Now that they are investors in the PGA Tour, will LeBron James and Drake make their presence felt at Augusta? Not gonna lie, that last one is super intriguing to me as it combines so many of my interests. It's never gonna happen, but the idea of Drake showing up at Augusta and throwing some subtle shade at Kendrick while doing it, it might make my head explode. Co-writer might think all parties involved are too old for this shit. I kind of want to see it just for the jokes. So, of course, you're wondering what are the official hard pass picks. Well, co-writer thinks that this is the right time for Rory to win number 5.
Come on, Rory.
I'm going with the hot hand of Scottie Scheffler. My man is on another level right now. All right, it's time for this week's hard pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like people who prayed for times like this. That's not meant to be a hard pass on Meek Mill's dreams and nightmares, or more recently, Drew McIntyre when he wished ill upon CM Punk. No, I'm talking about those who hoped and prayed for the downfall of the Ball family. It seemed like it was only yesterday when we couldn't walk outside or go on social media without somebody having something to say about Lavar Ball and his sons. I bet you we could go back to the early days of Hard Pass and find multiple segments where we got our jokes off about them. However, where we drew the line was hoping for their collapse or lack of relevancy. Like, things were a lot more interesting when LeVar was out here making outlandish statements and clowning on anybody who dared to challenge him or his boys. And yeah, he stepped over the line on more than one occasion and burned a few bridges along the way. But in the aggregate, he was a father who's proud of his kids and proud of the work that he's done to put his kids in a position where they would be good enough to make it to the NBA, or in Jello's case, a few practice squads for teams that his brothers played for. See, there I go again. I can't help it. But that's the extent of the jokes, I promise. To wish that the Balls would fail, though? Nah, never. Like, even though we all had our misgivings about Big Baller Brand positioning themselves as a luxury brand without luxury quality products and their recent attempts to return with Yeezy-like clogs, how cool would it have been if it did work out? BBB would have 2.5 sons in the league with signature shoes, kids in college would be signing NIL deals with them, and LeVar would have a BBB podcast that would rival Joe Rogan's. Okay, maybe that last one probably would cause an American Civil War, so scratch that one. Instead, Lonzo might never play again. LaMelo has to tell his Puma people his dad doesn't represent his views, and Jello's Jello. And the bad part is people are kicking them while they're down. Granted, they're down while LaMelo is making max contract money. Lonzo has made a sizable amount of money already, and Jello's Frito. I mean, Jello. He'll be fine. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jock Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message or social media if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you next week. Peace.